Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
B'Shem Hashem na'aseh v'natzliach, Shiur Torah. Baruch Hashem, always good to be back in Aventura. Another shiur. Unlike any other shiur we've done over the last few years, with the exception of one, which is the one we did in a couple of times we did a shiur on wasting seed in Florida once, and then another one in New York, the famous shiur in New York. This is a shiur that needs a disclosure even more than them. So it's not a shiur that's been done before in English. Obviously, there is a shiur by Rav Mizrahi, Sheikhye, about Gehinnom, but that's private shiur, meaning you could only get it directly from him. There's nothing posted on it online. There are some shiurim on Gehinnom on the internet in Hebrew, but nothing really in English. And you guys have been asking me, and many other people have been asking me to do a shiur about Gehinnom for at least a couple of years, and it's really been me that hasn't wanted to do it. And it's not necessarily because we want to hide the truth, chas v'shalom, as you see from every week's shiurs. There's more and more truth every week. There's more and more tshuva every week. But there's also a certain level of what you think people can handle. And because we go with Dat Torah on every single move that we make, or at least I try to, the best I can, every single thing that I do, I ask my Rav. I try to use as little of my opinion as I possibly can. And the reason why is because I'm very opinionated. I have a lot of opinions. Which means that I have to use it less and stick to the Torah. And the Torah is not just the 5 books of Moses. It's not just the Gemara. It's not just the Mishnah. It's not just the Zohar. It's also your Rav. And once in a while, there's a certain thing that you can do. You have to ask your Rav. But there's a time and a place for everything. So for the last couple of weeks, we've been delaying this shiur because we got to a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. We are now up to number 84. But we've been up to number 84 for almost a month. And the reason why is because we didn't start 84. And the reason why is because there's no way to escape the subject of Gehinnom. This is what the shiur is about. This is what the Mishnah is about. Meaning that if you want to lie, then you can have a shiur about this Mishnah and make up whatever you want to make up. You could talk about Gan Eden, you could talk about, angels, you could talk about nice things. But if you really look at the Mishnah, you look at the Mefarshim, you look at what the commentaries actually say, the reality is that the subject of punishment, the subject of reward, the subject of Gan Eden, and the subject of Gehinnom are very much a critical part of the Torah, just as much as Shabbat, just as much as kosher, just as much as modesty, just as much as conversion, just as much as how we are against idolatry, and so on and so forth. But nonetheless, in the Western world, and I would say probably 99% of the world, not just America, most people don't believe in Gehinnom. Most people never heard anything about it. Maybe they heard a few little stories here and there, and they say, no, it's not really real. They ask their rabbi, what about Gehinnom? Oh, no, it's a washing machine. It's a washing machine. There's an article in Chabad.com or .org, whatever the website is, where he wrote about Gehinnom. Someone asked them, is there a Gehinnom in Judaism? Is there a Gehinnom in Torah? And they wrote an article about 5 or 6 years ago that pictured Gehinnom to be such a nice place. I wrote him, I want to go there. It was such a nice place, such a nice washing machine. Honestly, it sounded better than Gan Eden. They didn't like my comments, so they didn't publish it. But nonetheless, I wrote him a bunch of sources of how he's wrong. And none of what he says is in the Torah. Nothing. It's all made up. But unfortunately, the Western world has been lying to you and me and everyone else and telling you that Gehinnom is a washing machine. Has been telling you guys that the most important thing you need to know about Gehinnom and punishment in general in Shamayim is the busha, embarrassment. Embarrassment. Well, I'm going to go through the books, not just the Mishnah's commentaries. We're also going to use Tana Devei Eliyahu. We're also going to use Gemara. We're also going to use the Tanakh. We're also going to use the 5 books of Moses. We're also going to use some of the severity tzadikim like Sharei Gilgulim and many others. We're going to use no less than 50 different sources. So at the end of this shiur, my goal is not necessarily just to give you guys nightmares. I don't necessarily want to give you nightmares. To be honest with you, to give this lecture is a nightmare. I've been trying not to do it. If it was up to me, I wouldn't do it. But in a generation where most people think that Yirat Shamayim is a curse word or is politically incorrect, it's time someone did it. And Makom she'en ish tishtadel liot ish. A place there's no leader, at least try to be one. So like I told you guys on Sunday shiur or last week's shiur, that even if I was an aton, even if I was a donkey, and I came over here and I told you, Hashem Yitbarach said, keep Shabbat. And here's the pasuk, Parashat Ki Tisa, here's pasuk, doesn't make a difference who I am. If I'm providing you sources for what I'm saying, it's irrelevant of whether I'm a donkey or a me. So the goal of today's shiur is to show you that in no place does it say that you should be worried about Gehinnom because of the busha. In no place does it say that you should be worried of Gehinnom because it's a washing machine. Not only does it say nothing, this is a figment of our politically correct mind. This is what we would like for it to be. We would like for it to be a 12-month sentence, like people think Gehinnom is only 12 months. This is as far from the truth as possible. We'd like for it to be that we could go against Hashem, eat whatever moves, whatever doesn't move, dress like prostitutes, steal like thieves, violate Hashem's name on a day-to-day basis, but we only have for 70, 80, 120 years, but we only have 12 months to suffer for it. And it's not really that big of a suffering. It's like people are making fun of you. So you're embarrassed for a year, miskin. I haven't found that in the books. Now I'm going to go over the sources. I'm going to go over what it says verbatim. Not my language, it's not my opinion. If you don't like it, complain to God. I'm going to try to use as little of my opinion as possible. I'll try to give you as many page numbers and book names and so on as possible. I'll try to make it as fluid as possible. And Be'ezrat Hashem will succeed to develop a little bit of Yirat Shamayim. There's going to be some graphic details. I'm not going to go over into every single detail that happens over there because there's not enough time in a day to do it. If I explain to you what happens in one of the Madorim, just one, the 7. If I explain to you what happens just one of them, time will end and we will not be finished. In fact, I don't know if there's enough time in today's shiur to do it. Even if we plan to have a 3-hour shiur like regular, I don't know if it's enough time to cover all the information that I have. This may actually have to be a series, unfortunately for me. It's a kaparat avonot, but nonetheless, it's a merit, and Be'ezrat Hashem, Kadosh Baruch Hu will see that I don't intend to get any kavod out of this, I don't intend to get any merit out of this, I just want you guys to understand that whatever anyone's told you about Gehinnom is an outright lie. And hopefully people understand that it's very much real, and at the end of the day, what Rabbi Yisrael Misalan said in O Israel, he said, if people understood, if they simply understood the fire of Gehinnom, not in the worst level, the 7th level that doesn't end, with Gemara Masechet Rosh Hashanah, page 17a, says that the Mashiach will come, the resurrection of the dead will happen, the world would end, but that Gehinnom will not end. That Gehinnom will not, that section of Gehinnom will never end. We're not talking about the 7th level. He says the lowest level, the first one. If people just understood the magnitude of the fire in the first level, they would say, you know what, Hashem, don't give us any reward. Just don't take us there. Don't give us any reward for any mitzvot. Just don't let me go into this Gehinnom. It's enough that I don't go to Gehinnom for a moment as a reward for 120 years of doing mitzvot and kaparat avonot and suffering your whole life. It's enough. Just to not go there. No Gan Eden. No reward. Nothing. If you understood what it means. Now some people hear some things about Gehinnom from time to time that I say small little tidbits. They say, oh yeah, do more, do more. Now if at the end of this year you're still that excited, that just means you're numb. It just means that unfortunately you're numb and there's a lot more work we need to do tshuva. Because if you understand some of these things, it's not normal that you cry in the middle of learning. It's not normal. You don't usually cry learning about Rabbi Akiva. You don't cry learning halachot. It's not a normal thing. But nonetheless, it's needed. One of the Ma'amarim, it says Rabbi Akiva one time, he was able to see things that most people cannot. And he saw a person running back and forth, collecting wood. Now this person looked disheveled. He looked distraught. He was full of smoke. He was full of injuries. And he was carrying wood back and forth. And running fast as if, mamash, someone's chasing him, but he doesn't see anyone chasing him. He tried telling him to stop. He didn't stop. He tried telling him to stop again. And he didn't stop. And then he says, I command you to stop. With the schut of the Torah, I command you to stop. And the man stopped. He says, who are you? He says, I'm not from this world. I'm not from here. He says, I know. Who are you? And what are you doing here? And why do you keep carrying wood? He says, this is my punishment. I am in Kafa Kela. Kafa Kela happens before Gehinnom. I made sins in my life, and my unfortunate punishment is that I have to collect wood. So they could burn me with this wood in the morning, and then they can burn me again at night. They burn me into ashes, and I feel more pain times 60 of what you think is pain. And then I go into ashes, and I go to nothing. And then they bring me back. And then I go chase wood again to go burn myself again. This is from Rabbi Akiva. It's not from Yaron Reuven. So if that was a little hard for you, it's okay if you leave. You should watch the shiur later on at least. Maybe you can only handle 10 minutes at a time. Maybe you can handle only a half hour at a time. I don't know. All I know is that it's not an easy shiur. Not to give it, not to study it, but nonetheless we all need to know it. Because the Gemara in Masechet Brachot says, when someone has the Yetzer Hara come to him to make a sin, he says, say Kriyat Shema. Say Kriyat Shema. Why say Kriyat Shema? Say Kriyat Shema, so remember there's a God. If that doesn't work, you still want to go out with the Goya. You still want to go out with the Goy. You still want to eat non-kosher. You still want to be not modest. You still want to do this. You still want to go against the Shem for whatever reason or another. He says, learn Torah. Why learn Torah? It'll remind you you're not allowed to do it. If that doesn't work, the Gemara says, okay, I did Kriyat Shema, babkis. I learned Torah, nothing. I want to sin even more now. What I do now? It says, remind him of the day he's going to die. Remind him of the day he's going to die. Why is that? That's it. Doesn't say anything after that. Doesn't say, talk to him about anything else. Why? Once you actually know what happens when you die, you don't need anything else. So that's what we're going to start off with. So Rabotai, prepare yourself. Again, I won't be offended if you can't handle it. Either way, Be'ezrat Hashem will succeed in getting a little bit of Yirat Shamayim into the Western world. So now, first and foremost, we should know a story of why these shiurim have been a very critical part of Am Yisrael for generation after generation until, unfortunately, our disastrous generation. If you look at the Ma'amarim of the Admor Mikosk, some of these Hasidim, I mean, honestly, you feel like it's like so far away, it might as well be Moshe Rabbeinu. Might as well be Moshe Rabbeinu. And they asked him, Kvod Arav, how come the Goyim, with their idolatry, how come they succeed so much? Just last week, Shem Rachem, last week, they did mass conversions in Israel. Mass conversions to Christianity, to idolatry. Mass conversions in Israel. In Eretz HaKodesh. Mass conversions. So already they're asking the Admor Mikos, they were succeeding even back then. Say, Kvoda, how come they're succeeding on us? We barely can start Chavruta. We barely have a shiur with 25 people. Why? He says the Kofrim, the heretics, עובדים את השקר באמת, ואנחנו עובדים את האמת בשקר. The Kofrim, the heretics, they work their lies, their sheker, 100%. באמת. We have the truth. We go half-ass. We don't do it באמת. If you really believed in everything the Torah says, you wouldn't be the happiest person on earth. You go outside every single day. Outside, you wouldn't wait. You wouldn't say Modeh Ani in your bed. You'd say Modeh Ani in Shamayim, Modeh Ani, that I'm a Jew. You'd actually say, every time you see a Jew, you see Donald Trump, you see Bill Gates, you see Warren Buffett, you see all these Goyim, Baruch Shelo Asani Goy. Looking at them, dafka. Not looking at some homeless Goy, oh, thank God I'm not a Goy. No. Looking at the Gvirim, the Ashirim, and say, Baruch Shelo Asani Goy. If you actually believe what it says in the Torah. Unfortunately, we don't. Unfortunately, we see videos that talk about Donald Trump, we all get excited. Oh, wow, look, Donald Trump saved Rabashkin, yay, that's from Hashem, yeah, it's good, he's a good leader, Mashiach is coming, same Gimatria. Let's invest more money in Bitcoin, in the stock market. So we get excited. We get excited about Donald Trump. We get excited about nonsense. Instead of being excited that we're Jews, you have the truth in your pocket. So, Rabotai, when we're scared to tell the truth, it gives the kofrim, it gives the heretics, it gives the Avdei Avodah Zarah, the idol worshippers from Christianity, the heretics, and other fools from Islam, or other idol worshippers from Buddhism, all other religions, it gives them even more strength. Why? Go ask them. Go into their churches. Go into their mosques. Go to their Buddhist churches. See if they're all struggling for money. I don't think it's ever existed in history that a church struggled for money. Why? Because the fools that follow it, lie or no lie, they work it be'emet. We, barely. But we have the emet. So one of the reasons why is because we're trying too hard to please everyone. So it's time to forget about pleasing everyone. It's time to please Hashem. And if this was not in the Torah, we wouldn't talk about it. So the first thing a person needs to know is realize that he's not going to be here forever. Some are going to live 120 years like Moshe Rabbeinu. Some are going to live 23 years like my cousin that died last year on Rosh Hashanah. Same price. Everyone thinks they're going to live 120 years. The reality is, the longer you live, the more you realize it's not going to happen. You start meeting people and then they disappear. So let's find out first what happens. So there's a book called Gesher Lechaim by Rabbi Yechiel Muchinsky. He says a few things. He says sometimes the Torah tells you different things, Lachot, Sipurim, and so on. And you need the Torah to give you a little bit of Yirat Shamayim. But sometimes the Torah doesn't give you Yirat Shamayim. Why? You didn't get to that section. You skipped it. You didn't understand it. So Rav Ephraim says, my Rav says, sometimes you need to talk about what's going to happen when you die. So the Gesher L'Chaim talks about the halachot of what happens when someone dies. Literally. So the halakha of cleaning the body, cleaning the dead. Now, cleaning a dead person is not exactly the most comforting thing in the world, but you should all know you're all going to go through it at some point. Myself included. It's all going to happen. So when a person is extra proud of their looks and their money and their intellect and all the things that they have physically, you should know that at some point you're going to be like a little turkey, where they're going to take stuff out of you like a turkey from your behind. Okay? And you're going to be like a little corpse. So next time you're overconfident, next time you're arrogant, next time you want to show off, just remember you're going to be that. The only difference is turkey is kosher. A dead body is muktzeh. Not even allowed to touch it on Shabbat. It's a very uncomfortable thing when you actually realize that at some point someone's going to have to clean poop out of your body. But that should help you with your arrogance. It helps me. To realize, in reality, what are you so proud of? Something that's going to be muktzeh one day? Now, after someone goes into the grave, according to halakha, should be 1.25 meters deep. 1.25 meters deep. You have to put the legs first and then the head. If anyone ever experienced or saw a funeral, it's mamash a kaparat avonot. It's a disaster, it's a traumatizing experience, regardless of what religion it is, but even more so in Judaism. In other religions, sometimes they burn it, so some crazy people put that stuff in their house, the ashes in their house. Other people put it in tombs. The tombs they look like, very expensive apparently. And it looks, I don't know, I guess to them it looks good. But in Judaism, we don't have those things. In Judaism, when they put somebody in a tomb, it literally looks like a sack of potatoes. It's being put into a hole. That's going to be us. I'm trying to be as graphic as possible so you understand what we're talking about here. Now, anyone that saw it should be traumatized a little bit. If you haven't seen it, most people have the same conclusion as you. That's it, the end. Finished. Guy finished. He lived 70 years, 80 years, 90 years. Done, he's finished. That's it. Little potato bag over there. Finished, done. Go home. Everybody says Kaddish. They do for the first year. Finished. And the little potato bag over there is done. Not so. The Torah Kedosha says this is when life begins. This is when life begins. This is the moment a person's eyes close. The moment the neshama leaves the body. There's no more doubts. There's no more questions. There's no more safek. There's no more, I'm not so sure. There's no more of that. The moment your neshama leaves the body, the moment the person passes away, they know everything. And they know what they're expecting. So, if you look at the book by Rabbi Yehuda Ftaya, who got his information from different sources, from the Zohar, from his Rabbanim, but also got it from Dibukim. Dibukim is people that were taken over by other neshamot. Regular people like you and I that had to go through mamash a tikkun, a disaster, where a neshama went inside their body and took control. Why is this neshama here even? This neshama is not in Gehinnom. Didn't have the merit to go to Gehinnom. It went to a place beforehand called Kafakela. Now Kafakela does not have a 12-month sentence. Kafakela could be for 1,000 years. It could be forever. It could be for 5 minutes. There's no time frame on it. Kafakela is non-stop punishment. When someone is in Kafakela, they give him all different types of punishment. They have certain malachim that are in charge of beating him or her non-stop, but they give him the hope that he can run away. So he's constantly running away from them. Hey, Yetzirah showed up, we're disconnected from the internet. Probably people complained. So they give him the hope as if he could run away. He's not going to just stay there. But nonetheless, he keeps running and they're behind him. He keeps running and they're behind him. But not behind him is like, hey, how are you? Now sometimes they take his neshama, or her neshama, depending on who the sinner was, male or female, and they take the neshama and they fling it. Where do they fling it? Into outer space. From one corner of the end of the earth, of the galaxy to the other. Back and forth. But throughout that whole journey, they're beating him. Like a slingshot. So when that poor man that dies is in the grave, this is what he has to look forward to. If he's a sinner. Now the first thing that happens after a person dies is these malachi Kabbalah come. These malachim come, these angels come, and they don't know what mercy is. There's no concept of mercy. This is one of the things that we fail to understand. We think mercy like we think of mercy. We think there's mercy in Shamayim like here. To give you a little bit of a understanding, it's just like Hashem is unlimited in the amount He loves you. He's also unlimited in the amount of wrath that He has. There's no concept of limit. The punishment that you can think of in your mind is not even remotely the same of what's actually out there. Because you think of in limited capacity. So some of the things you're going to hear is like, oh, come on, what kind of God is this? It sounds vicious. It sounds horrible. Yes, it is. That's the point. That's the point. It is horrible. It is vicious. So the first thing they do, these Hashem and Hachem, is there's one specific malach that comes to the body, and the first thing actually they do is they make the grave deeper. They make the grave deeper. So it's only, like I told you, it's 1.25 meters according to halacha, but they make the grave deeper. Why deeper? Because at that moment they take the neshama and they put it back in the goof. They put it back into the body. And then they have the body stand up. Why? They want it to stand up and feel it full. Why feel it full? Why? Because both the body and the soul sinned. So in the Gemara, there's a debate between Antoninus and Rebbe. Antoninus says to Rebbe, the neshama in the goof, the neshama in the body can get away with sinning. Why? They go up to Shamayim, to the Bet Din of Shamayim. The neshama says, listen, I didn't sin. It was the body that sinned. The body sinned. I didn't sin. Well, I could do something without the body? Look, when I was over here, I was holy. I was doing everything good. You put me into the body, I started sinning. I didn't do it. It was the body that sinned. The body says to Shamayim, look, I can't move. Look, as soon as you took the neshama out of me, I was fit. I couldn't move. I'm a golem. Nothing. A piece of meat, steak. Nothing. So that's what Antoninus said to Rebbe. Rebbe says, no, it's different. What's it different? What is it like? It's like there was one time a person that had a gina, had like a garden. Had a garden. In the garden, he wanted somebody to take care of it. So two people that were available, one guy was blind, and the other guy was a neche, was paraplegic. Couldn't move his legs. Said lame legs, didn't work. So they said, listen, watch my garden. He knows they're not going to steal. They can't move these two. But these two are thieves. So the guy that's blind said to the guy that's lame, listen, you can't do anything by yourself. But we can do it together. We can do it together. Why don't I put you have eyes. I don't have eyes. I can't see anything. But it smells good here. There's maybe good apples, maybe there's good fruits. Let's take some stuff. How do we do it? I'll put you on my shoulders. And you can see where we're going, and I'll walk. I'll take you where. You tell me where to go, right, left. And that's what they did. The guy, the Baal Habayit, shows up, everything is empty. He said, who stole my stuff? And he sees the guy that's blind, says, I can steal, so I can't see what's even here. The guy that doesn't have legs says, I can't even walk. Where am I going to go with all the stuff that was stolen? I don't know, maybe somebody stole it overnight. It's not us. So the Baal Habayit was not a fool, and he says, no, my friends. It was you that did it. You were the only ones that were here. So he put the blind person in one place, and he put the lame person on top of him, and he beat them up together. He judged them as in one individual. Rebbe says this is the neshama in the guf. The neshama goes to Shamayim. He says, Hashem, I can't sin without the guf. I can't sin without the body. The body says, Hashem, I can't even move without the soul. Hashem says, put them back together and judge them as an individual. No free lunch, my friends. No free lunch. All those people that tried to kill themselves thinking that after they kill themselves, their troubles will be over. If they actually know what's going to happen the minute they die, they'll regret the moment they thought about ending their life. Because life actually just begins at that moment. This source of this story is Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin, page 91b. Now, after they take the body, first they take the grave, they make it bigger, they put the neshama back into the guf, and then one of these vicious Malachei Kabbalah comes and he says, what caused this person to sin? What led him to all sins? Oh, it all starts with the eyes. He looks at his friend's garden, he looks at his friend's bank account, he looks at his friend's wife, he looks at his friend's this, he looks at his friend's that, she looks at her friend's this, she looks at her friend's that. What led them to sin? The eyes. So first angel comes, he's responsible for what? Taking him out his eyes, breaking his eyes. Breaking his eyes over and over again to make sure this is why you sinned. You followed your eyes, now you understand what it means. Now you understand how much trouble it's going to get you in. Now you guys think, oh, okay, so eyes, not good, da, da, da. No, you don't understand. The concept of pain that you understand here, Baruch Hashem, I'm assuming that most of you never went through major pain. I have a little bit of experience in pain. But whatever pain I experienced, a multiple of 60 is not even enough, meaning 60 times. Everything in the Olam HaEmet is at least 60 times stronger. At least 60 times stronger. The Gemara says, fire here is at least 60 times stronger. At least 60 times stronger. The Baal Matok Midvash put commentary in recent history, recent generation, just died maybe 10 years ago. Matok Midvash, he told his student, he would take his kids, his students that were 6, 7 years old, on a trip. Annual trip. Where we take them? We take them to the woods, and they'd have a little bonfire. What, to put potatoes in? To put some marshmallows? No. I had a bonfire in the woods, and I told these little 7-year-olds, you see this fire? It's hot. Gehinnom is at least 60 times hotter. Don't sin. Gehinnom is at least 60 times hotter. At least 60 times this fire. Don't sin. All the little kids, Baruch Hashem, they have Yirat Shamayim already at 7 years old. So today, we don't even teach 70-year-olds about Yirat Shamayim or Gehinnom. In previous generations, 7-year-olds already knew what Gehinnom was. Just to give you an understanding of where we stand. This is just one generation away. One generation difference. So, one of the shiurim that's actually in Hebrew, it's a very good shiur, very educated, is by one of his students. And as a matter of fact, anyone that speaks Hebrew should probably watch it. His name is Rabbi Yitzchak Cohen. So anyway, he teaches a lot of Zohar, a lot of Kabbalah stuff, a lot of really interesting